Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Alto Call MAFS. I am your host, Tane, and we have made it to the end of the rewatch. I just thought the rewatch was going to take forever and a day, but it kind of did, but time is going by so fast. We are in the finale, the reunion. They don't even call it a reunion, they call it a finale. We don't even see the experts. With me talking about this is my co host for the rewatch, Jen. Hi, Jen. How are you?
Hi, we made it. We did it. There were times where we were like, ugh, I don't know if I can make it through this. Deanna and Greg were pulling us through. And so, yeah, it was good to get a conclusion to some of these stories and see how people are doing after this. But I am
Yeah.
safely nestled in Vietnam. Everything that they say about the traffic here is true. It is insane, but the people here are wildly nice, and so we're excited to be here.
How insane are we talking?
We were coming back from a place called Beer Street, and it's just a street of bars. So it's like 6th Street in Austin, where it's just bar, 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 bar. And I don't even know if there was a light, but at one point we were just surrounded by motorbikes, and it was like a zombie apocalypse. You know those zombie movies where somebody's in a car and like the zombies are all around, like pounding on the windows? It was like that. There was just
Mm-hmm.
motorbikes all around us, and I have no idea how our driver was supposed to get through it. And I think we had a green light, but the motorbikes didn't care. They were cutting in front of us and trapped on side of us. It was a thing. I could not drive here. It's nuts.
Oh, okay. Well, stay safe, Jen. I feel like I say that all the time. Every time you tell me you're somewhere, I'm like, stay safe. But yeah. Um, what did you think about this finale?
I don't know if there were any grand surprises. I felt like it followed the season. There wasn't much where it was shocking, and there wasn't much that made me gasp. Uh, um, you know, Matt
Yeah.
still has his audacity, and everybody, for the most part, except for Matt and Jamie, looked beautiful. The lighting people did my golden couple, Deanna and Greg, dirty. I don't know why they were so dark. It may have just been my TV. But other than that, no big surprises. How about you?
Well, it's my second watch, so
But you
I'm
said you
not.
forgot. You said you forgot it. So some of this stuff may
That's
have been new.
true. That's true. And I feel like as it started, I think it was like a memory jog. You know how when they say, like, talk to people and they'll remember? I said remembering. But no, honestly, I think to answer your question, I feel like it felt underwhelming. But on the flip side, I felt like a hypocrite because we say that they drag out the reunions right now so long that I'm like, so which do I want? And I don't even know if I know the answer because I also felt like maybe the expert should have been there.
Yes.
Did you miss the
Yes.
experts?
I did, because I wanted some people to still be confronted, because I don't think they were confronted at the reunion, or not the reunion, on decision day, in a way that
Yeah.
felt satisfying. So I think it would have been nice to have some people confronted, some people kind of not justified, but let some people know, like, you're doing all right. Especially with Iris, I still think she misses the point. And so I think it would have been nice to have somebody there to be like, hey, this is what it means.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and Kevin's not equipped to do that. I mean, his job is to keep the stuff flowing, and he did his job. But yeah, I think it would have been nice to see the experts there for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, we're at the end of it all. We still don't have a date for Maps in the Fall, so we're gonna find something else to watch in the meantime. I know I got a recommendation for 90 Day Fiance UK, and I thought about some other shows, but just to let you know, in case you want to watch along with us, we are leaning into doing season 4 of Couples Therapy.
Yay,
Now,
Orna forever.
Jen is a huge fan.
I
Jen has
love
watched
her.
it. I think we're flipping because I haven't watched this new season yet. So it's going to be a first for me, but it's always interesting. I enjoy human psychology and how people operate. And I think it'll be good keeping in the tradition of talking about couples. I think it'll be good to see it, but they're actually with an actual expert and a good expert. And we'll see how he goes, but nothing official yet. We're just leaning towards there, and we'll let you know when it's complete. I will put on the socials, and so you can watch along with us. And even if you don't watch, you can listen to us. But yeah, what were you gonna say, Jen?
Oh, I was going to say, did I ever tell you that in the early, I think it was season 1, I reached out to Orna and asked her to be on my podcast, and
Wow.
they were like, no. I was like, okay,
Oh.
thanks. No, it was very nice and very polite. But now that I see the reach of the show, I think it was just one that I really liked her, and my podcast was just talking to people that I liked and I was interested in them as people. Like, I
Yeah.
wasn't doing it for likes and follows and numbers, and so I assume with the success of the show, they were just like, no, girl, we're going to go on Dax Shepard's podcast. We're doing Jay Shetty. We're not doing your tiny little 20 follower podcast. But at least they responded quickly. I didn't get ghosted, so that was nice.
Who did you reach out to?
Um, Somehow, because I do love to do some research. So I
Mm-hmm.
guess I found her. This was so long ago. Whoever her PR person was, I don't even
Yeah.
remember. But yeah, they were quick to say no, thank you.
Okay. Just a reminder, Love is Blind UK is happening right now. I am enjoying it. I am covering it with Brian. That is on the regular feed, and you can check that out as it comes out. And also, I am doing challenge recaps on Patreon. So you can check that out also on Patreon. And a reminder that if you want to listen ad free, there is a tier on Patreon that you can join to listen without the annoying ads. All right, let us get into this. So, the format of this, I looked so hard, and I don't think I should have looked that hard to find out when Kevin joined and started doing the reunions. I think it's season 8, but season 8 is not available to watch. Neither is season 10. Not quite sure why. I don't know what was so terrible. Season 10, I know, had the whole Brandon thing, but I don't know. Season 8 was Philly. I don't remember anything being so terrible, but I don't know why those were taking off. But so I think that's when Kevin started. If not, this might have been his first, but I feel like they would have said for the first time, Kevin is joining us
That's true. He
for
rolled
this.
in there. He rolled in there real comfortable, so it probably
Yeah,
wasn't his first.
he was comfortable. So the way it is like he sits there and then each couple comes down and they speak to them with each couple. Then all the couples come together and that was it. Nothing crazy, not asking you the same thing 10,000 times. Like even me saying like I miss the experts, I don't know if I do. I think there are things like I would want them, like for this scenario, if the experts were there, I would want Kevin to ask, why did you think like having a virgin on the show would work out?
Yeah.
And then
Oh, yeah.
see what they say. Okay, so the
I,
first couple coming out, oh, go ahead.
oh no, I was going to say that I wish that they had because I think they do it on future seasons where they had like all the women together and then all the men together because I think at least from the man's perspective, Matt got off light again because the guys didn't really give their opinion that
Mm-hmm.
much. And so I think maybe if they were together with just the guys, it may have gone differently because Matt is really easy to just dismiss the women. So I
Yeah.
really wish they would have had like, hey, all the guys give their opinion and see how that would have gone.
And you see, that's where I go back and forth, where I'm like, I don't think I miss it. I don't want it to be like 3 parts, but then you need 3 parts to fill out all of this. But then it feels, watching it in real time in the 3 parts, it feels repetitive. But then not having it, I'm like, well, do we need it? I'm still unsure of my answer.
And maybe they need to look at the season because there's going to be some seasons where it makes sense to kind of have a 3 part, like definitely with the Madison David debacle. that required more, but maybe not some of the other seasons.
Yeah. Okay. Iris and Keith come out. Keith is in braids now. I usually mock guys in braids, but they look good on Keith, I would say.
Keith braids, yeah, I'm here for it. I don't know what happened. Like I didn't find myself as attracted to Keith at the beginning of the show, but maybe there's
Mm.
something. I'm a personality girl, and he progressively got more attractive. And then I made the mistake of going on his Instagram and seeing Sir in suits and posing and him with braids. I'm here for it. Not on everybody. Not everybody can rock braids. I watched Perfect Match and whatever JR. No, no. But Keith, all day, all day.
Yeah. He's a pretty boy.
Mm,
He's a
mm.
pretty boy. But he looked good in the braids, and he was just in all black. And then Iris was like in pink, I believe. No, was that Amber? Oh no,
No,
both of
no.
them were in pink.
Yeah, they
Because I
were.
remember thinking pink ladies and things like that. So Kevin asked them about the qualities about each other that they like, and Keith says like they did a good job. The experts did a good job in matching them. They both have the common interest of serving children and the youth, and Iris says they did a good job, that they're both adventurous people, and they seek the thrill of life, and they were generally compatible. I gotta say that I thought about it. My perception is reality. My first perception was like, Iris is not a seeker. Like, what? But then I'm like, wait, why do I think that? Did I just project that on her? But would you say Iris is a thrill seeker?
I don't think she's a thrill seeker. I think if thrill is happening, she may not turn it away. Because if we think about the honeymoon, they went on that random walk on this scary island. And
Yeah.
then I think, did they paddleboard or something? So, and then they went to the dance class. So I don't know if she actively seeks it necessarily, but I think if it's there, she's not going to turn it away.
Okay. So they play a clip of their journey, and when the part comes up when they talk about his grandma, like we see the in clip or instead of their reactions to it, I did notice that she put her hand on his back,
Yeah, I saw
during
that
that
too.
scene, which is
I saw that
nice.
too. Sweet.
And while they're playing that, at some point she just starts tearing up, and Keith asks her, Kevin, sorry, asks her, why are you tearing up? And she's like, I care about him. That's why. And I always wonder, even with reunions, sometimes I think Bravo now has tissues on hand. Why do they never keep tissues on hand? These women have done their makeup, they are getting ready. Like, the least you can do is just have tissues so they don't mess up their makeup and they have something to wipe their tears with.
Right. Well, other than Amber, I don't know if they had predicted that anybody would cry. It's not going to be Deanna. It's certainly not going to be Beth. So I think they probably went into this thinking that Iris was done or understood that because she handled the divorce so well. I don't know if they could have predicted that she was still going to be real kind of hurt and attached.
I don't know. Still a reality show. Even on After Party, you just got to keep those on hand,
Yeah.
just in case. So Iris says when Keith asked for a divorce, she just went blank. Like, she wasn't sure. Like, she really expected him to say yes. And it was more like the setup. Like, he gave her all these compliments, and then he was just like, well, you don't have enough experience. And I'm going to do my best to say it exactly what she said. And I quote, it was more like, okay, yeah, and she does this and she's good at that, but yeah, I don't want to stay married to her because she ain't got enough relationship experience, so I'm good on you. You're great though, but keep doing you. And
I
I
mean,
said,
yeah, go ahead.
go ahead, please.
I just, the voice that she put on and the tone that she put on was not anywhere near the way that Keith delivered it. But I get that she's hurt and she wanted to emphasize what that felt like for her because Keith immediately was like, "Oh, is that what I said?"
No, Keith
Because-
says, I didn't say all that. And
right.
Kevin says, but that's how it was interpreted. And that's just when I noticed that she had braces. I didn't realize
I was
that
so
she had it.
distracted by her hair, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I think she had. Listen, I had braces as an adult. I was like in my 20s when I got braces, but I got what was called like 6 month ortho. So they weren't like the metal and stuff. It was supposed to be like the color of your teeth.
Okay.
So I don't know if she had Invisalign or if she had that, but you don't wear it like as long as that, and it just kind of moves your stuff. So it looked like similar to what I had, but you have to look really closely to see it. Because I just noticed that she had like a really slight lisp, and I was like, I don't think she had a lisp the entire time.
You
So
are more attentive than me. I was so distracted by that wig. I was like, you have gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous
she
hair. I don't know
does.
why you needed to rock this thing. It didn't add anything to her. I think she's far more gorgeous with her natural hair. I get that, this is an event and you want to change it up, but it was so out of, even the dress was not her. Like it just felt like a different person walked out. Her personality was still there, but just visually it's not the Iris I was used to seeing.
But I get what you mean because it's not like the wig was like terrible, but it was just something was still off about it. Like it
Yeah,
didn't seem like her. So,
right.
yeah. So she says, like, the show allowed her to see perspective, of herself. And, Keith goes on, like, what she would have changed and that she wished that she had pushed him more on. I keep saying Keith, but I mean Kevin. Kevin says, what would you have changed? And she said she wished she would have pushed him more on how he felt about her virginity and not kept it surface. And she wished that she had dug deep as to why it was such an issue. And Kevin is like, I mean, he's right here. We can ask. Let's ask. And so Keith is like, not having sex is fine, but it's an area that she's not experienced in. And it's a place that she doesn't know herself. And he just feels like before you become a wife, you should know yourself in that way. She said, yeah, I may not know, but that's why I wanted to have that with you. And Kevin was like, let me get this straight. You wanted to have sex with him? And she goes, yeah. And Keith keeps saying immaturity. Like, I wish he would just bring up, like, what I think my problem with Keith is Keith was not specific.
Yeah,
Keith was so focused on being polite and nice, which is important because honestly, it's a delicate situation, but he wasn't actually saying what he meant to say. Say things like, ma'am, you were uncomfortable just talking about it. You
yeah,
looked like you were breaking out in hives. How do I
yeah,
proceed with that, especially since we don't know each other?
yeah. And
You
I
know?
think, and no, Iris, you didn't need to push him more about the virginity thing. You pushed him on that plenty. So I didn't agree with her on that. But I also, again, I'm a Keith like lover here. But I think what he said was brilliant. Like, you don't know yourself yet, and to let someone else decide that for you is not a space I wanted to have you in. That's brilliant. I don't know how anybody could say that any more clearly and succinctly and in a way that takes the responsibility out of it. Like, he's not saying that had nothing to do with you being a virgin. It's like, hey, you're somebody that's not, and he said, you're not emotionally mature. To your point, he did need to give her more specifics because she missed it. But I would think watching the season, he said it specifically. So either she didn't watch it back or she's just so stuck on this narrative of it's because I'm a virgin, it's because I'm a virgin. And he said, if you watch the show, what it was. And I just don't know if she blinked on those or what. But I think he said
And
that to her so beautifully.
I think that's where I disagree. I think he
Mm,
wasn't clear. He did specifically say not having sex is fine, but it's an area you're not experienced in. Saying that you don't know yourself is different from you don't know yourself sexually. And Keith just kept saying sexually. That's my issue. Because
mm,
even I, as a viewer, I felt like he wasn't clear. So I can actually see why she's confused because he kept staying in the sphere of sex instead of separating and saying, like, it's not just sex. You just seem like, even bringing up the lemonade, I
yeah,
think, would have been a good example. But he kept staying and he kept saying, I don't want to be the one to teach you. He kept saying that it was sex. So I don't know. That's where I feel like he could have just done better. So I understand how she misunderstood that. And then he tried to say it because he said your reaction to things and how, like, for example, how uncomfortable you were finding out about the condoms. That was a red flag.
mm-hmm,
And she just finds this preposterous. Like, you could have just had a conversation with me. I already think that that was a terrible example for Keith to use. Don't use the condoms. That happened before, you guys met. Like, you could have used something else. And then she's like, well, if you had a conversation with me, like, I could have done something about it. How would I, grow? And Keith is like, how do you plan on fixing your emotional maturity in 8 weeks? And it doesn't
yeah,
make sense. And this is where I can see why it gets confusing. Now he's saying emotional maturity. But just right now, you just said, I don't know myself sexually. Which is it?
Yeah.
You know?
And maybe this is where an expert would have been helpful to point out, or maybe this is when, again, I do love me, like, let's roll the tape and some clips, and maybe she should have got a montage of, like, this is what he means this, like, when they just asked, what do you like, and you went, I don't want to
Yeah.
talk about it, or I don't want
Yes.
to, like, that's what he means.
Yes. Yeah.
But also, if you're so, I'm stuck on being clear, I don't know if he ever knew that you wanted to have sex with him. So if she's saying now, yes, Keith, I wanted him to be the person, I don't think Keith ever knew that.
I
I don't know what
don't
it
think
would have
she
changed. I don't know
meant
what it would have changed, but
I don't think she meant have sex with you during this 8 weeks. Eventually,
right.
is what I think she
Yeah.
meant. But I think she did say, I want to stay married. I want this beyond. You're my husband. And she was clear, I am saving this for my husband. And she saw him as her husband.
Eventually, because remember, she kept flip flopping between, I'm marrying a stranger. Oh, you're my husband, but you're a stranger, but you're my husband. And so I think it took her a minute to get there.
Yeah. All right. We will take a quick break and come back to this Keith and Iris saga. And we're back. Okay. So Iris says they could have tried after 8 weeks, and she had no idea that it messed with him that much, and she's tearing up, and she says, like, she just wanted him to try and he didn't want to try. I will say that I felt for her, and I do understand what she is saying, because the fact of the matter is, regardless of all the things, I'm a virgin, I'm a this, I'm whatever, the fact that the bottom line is that he didn't even want to try, and that's what hurt. I give an example, and I mentioned, like, I dated someone and they were going through a hard time, and they decided, like, they didn't want to drag me in the mess, and they didn't want me to deal with that and all that. All I heard was, like, you don't want me when the times are down,
Mm,
and you don't
mm,
even want to try with me. And to them, they're just like, I want to deal with this by myself. I want to
yeah.
be alone. Like, I don't need to put on that. But at the end of the day, if we were married, you're going to divorce me to deal with it on your own. At the end of the day, you didn't want to do this with me.
Yeah.
And that's where I understand what Iris is saying, is like, if I was someone you really wanted, whether I was a virgin, whether or not, you would be willing to be like, let's make this on this journey, let's go on this journey. The fact of the matter is, you did not want me, and I can't say that she's wrong.
And I don't thank you for sharing your very personal story, but thank you for sharing your very personal story, period. I wonder if your past partner and Keith both thought they were doing their partners a favor. That, hey, I'm not going to keep dragging her through this. I'm not going to keep, for Keith, I'm not going to keep making her feel badly about not being the person that I need. Or your partner, I'm not
Yeah.
going to keep making Tane feel badly because my stuff has nothing to do with her, but she's affected by it. So I'd rather take her out of it um, than make her still be affected by it. So
Yeah.
although you as the recipient and
Yeah.
Iris as the recipient can't see that because
Hmm.
you're like, oh, but I give me that chance and we'll see. And you've taken that chance away from me, and that's painful.
Yeah.
But I think really, because Keith is not a bad guy, Keith is not a Matt or a Jamie. I think he really thought, I can't keep putting her through this. And it's better. And also, and not totally selfless. I mean, also on his point, it's a lot of work for him. But
Yeah.
if he knows it's not going to go anywhere, why keep putting her through it?
Yeah. And I think, again, my only gripe with Keith was, I wish he was just more honest. I think the
Yeah.
part of the matter was, yes, he's not wrong. She wasn't emotionally mature, and I wish that was what he focused on a lot. But he kept conflating it with sex, and then the message was lost. But if he liked her, if he didn't mind, he would have tried off camera. But like a very wise person called Aid said, no one who is going to try is going. It's not going to work. It's
Right.
not going to work off camera. Like, if it's going to end, it's going to end, and so be it. Keith
Yeah.
just didn't want to take the risk of being the one who took her virginity.
Yeah.
Even if they said yes on decision day, what if they broke up in like a year? What if he liked enough what he saw now, but then
Mm-hmm.
they got to know each other, and there was a chance that, I'm not feeling this, and then they split? Keith was
Mhm.
like, I don't want that on me. That is not going to happen. I'm not even going to find out if it's going to work because this is just always going to hang over us. And he dipped. That's just the unsaid thing. And that's it.
And
But
I
he's never
think
going to say it.
no, and I think at some point on this show, she said, I need you to just say the thing, like whatever the thing is, and you just need to be clear and direct and say it. And he finally said something, and she said, thank you. That's what I need to hear. So I think he got stuck being, and I think guys sometimes get stuck on, you can be honest and not be a bad guy. And I think
Mm-hmm.
he was so worried about being the good guy that he didn't want to be honest.
Yeah. So, um, Keith does say that he didn't want the responsibility of teaching Iris and be the one to establish their foundation of intimacy, which is what I mean by he kept saying that is sex. It's not just the emotional maturity. And I have to say that's a cop out because even if you're with someone that's experienced, everyone's going to have different variations of the encounters, their sexual encounters with different people. You are going to learn each other. You are going to learn what the other likes in their body. So,
Yeah,
I don't know.
but that goes back to what Viviana said when they were talking about this, where when I forget what their activity was, but it was like, yeah, this is something that every couple faces, that you guys are new to each other, whether you're new to this at all, Iris, or whether you're new to this because Keith is a new person to you. Every couple has these conversations, but I think what
Yeah.
Keith was stuck on was that she wasn't willing to have the conversation. Anytime they tried to have a conversation, she said she wasn't going to talk about it, or she wasn't going to do it, or she didn't know, or whatever. The conversation never happened. And she kept saying on the reunion, like, I wish you had told me that. But I can see from Keith's perspective, like, lady, we tried to have these conversations, and it
Yeah.
never happened.
Yeah. Ah, poor them.
I know.
So he emphasizes that he means intimacy and not sex. You see, again, how can you say you don't want to teach her, but you don't want to establish the foundation of intimacy? Then he says intimacy does not mean sex. And then she's like, okay. She goes down all the bullet points of all the things that he says because she's like,
Mhm.
did I ever comfort you? Was I ever caring for you? Was I there? And then Keith is like, okay, where are we going with this? And she's like, I just wanted to make sure because you're saying these are the things that you mean, but I did all of this and you're still saying that I didn't give it. But I don't know. Keith is not being straightforward. So at this point, I'm annoyed by the conversation because at the end of the day, Iris, he don't want you, and Keith,
No.
you don't want to be straightforward. So you've picked your poison. I'll just be the bad guy and let's end this. Let's wrap this up.
Were
But
you
Kevin and Iris,
shocked? Oh, go ahead.
oh, Kevin and Iris both give him respect for how he handled it, though, because again, we've said this on the season recap too. Is this could have been a terrible guy, and this could have been handled and gone left real bad for Iris. So he did the best he could, I guess. So we learned that they still talk and they still do things
Yes.
like dinner. And
What?
Kevin asked, like, are you hoping that the door opens and all that? They both kind of say they need change on both sides. I don't know. I chuckle a little when Iris is always like, Keith needs to show me that he wants this. I was like, but everything he says shows that he doesn't want you. So I don't I don't know what he needs to prove or change. And I don't know why
Yeah, I
Keith would
was
decide not to be and then
stuck
still
on,
do
like,
dinners and
why are you
hang out
guys
with
still going to
Iris.
dinner?
That could easily
What
be
do you even
misinterpreted.
yeah, all of this was tough. It's like, all right, if you guys are still going to dinner, what do you talk about at dinner? Like, if you still have all of this unfinished business and all of these unfinished questions, how are they not coming up at dinner? Why is this coming up on the show?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's why I was shocked. And I think maybe they should stop because I think whatever these dinners are, I think is giving her hope. And
Yeah.
she needs to not have it anymore because she had some very loose ends that if they're not talking about it off camera and in their personal lives, I think it's because she's still hanging on. And he's trying to be nice. And maybe they just need to stop.
Yeah. Um, she says that she will want to work it out by going to counseling. And Kevin asks, "Do you miss her?" He says yes, that he misses her. And his answer is, "And I don't know." And then Kevin's like, "Would you date her in the future?" And then Iris is frustrated, like we are. And she's like, "You just have to be straight sometimes. Like, geez." And then Keith says, like, "Well, for me, I'm ready to have a wife now, and she's not ready to be a wife." So I guess we got our wish, and he was straightforward with
Ooh,
that.
and Snippy McSnipperson said, "Don't speak for me." I was like, "Oh, okay."
I mean, the irony is that Keith is still single and Iris is engaged now to be a wife. So
Yay.
we get a selfie cam where Iris is telling us that she's not broken, that she's good, but by her hair, we can tell like this was done before. I think it was done on like the final day, after decision day or something like that. So Keith says that he has not been dating, and Iris is just like, "You mean you haven't had sex?" And
Girl.
Keith is like, "What kind of question is that?" And
Exactly.
Iris,
Exactly.
over the top Iris comes. Iris, she was in that mood where you're trying to be cool and you're trying to play it off as a joke, but Loki, you want to know, but
No,
Loki,
you.
it's just awkward for the rest of us. And it's like, stop, please. And she's like, "I mean, you went this long without it. I'm just making sure you're good, for your ex-husband, ex-wife." And I was like, oh, this is so awkward.
But also, this is
But
the emotional maturity he's talking about. Like, oh,
yeah.
this is not an appropriate question to have with my ex. Not an appropriate question to have with my ex on TV. Like, if this is something you want to know, ask him at one of these dinners y'all have. Like, why? Why? But that goes back to her thinking, oh, he's had sex before, so he's a nymphomaniac. Like, that's not what that means. Like, men, other than Jamie, are able to control themselves, and they're able to wait and think about what this means for themselves. They're not all of them. Some of them are out there needing to put it in, but he's not that guy. And if he was, you wouldn't want him anyway. Yikes.
Yeah. I didn't think we'd get this much material from Iris and Keith, but we did. We sure did. So we move on to Deanna and Greg, and Kevin tells him that their relationship is inspirational. They play the clip of their relationship, and Kevin is like, he just loves how they laughed a lot. Deanna says that she kept wondering what it would be like without cameras and the stresses. And she got to the point where, because I think Kevin asked her, like, how did you know, like, this was it? And she's like, she got to the point because they were very intentional off camera. Like, whenever they weren't filming during downtime, they had deep conversations. And when she thought back to those moments, that's when she knew that, Greg was the man for her. Greg Kevin asked Greg if he had any doubts. He's like, yeah, he had doubts. Like when he kept going back to the no relationship for 10 years, and he kept wondering, like, would the walls come back up? Would old patterns just come back up? But after the cameras left, it was a sigh of relief. But he also felt like something was missing because they had to make their own decisions. Because what is Greg without a little joke in there? Um, this is when we find out that the reunion it's been 2 months since decision day, and then we find out that they're still married. We learned that Deanna was the first to say I love you, and he did not say anything back. Shocker.
I know, right?
And she said that when he did say I love you, it was like he was looking for some things, his sunglasses, his keys, or whatever, and she was like, okay, I'm gonna go find them. She found the items he was looking for, and Greg was like, oh, I love you. And he's like, that's how I said it? She's like, yes. So who knows?
Hey, his acts of service kicked right in. That boy also, he wants compliments, but he also wants acts of service.
So Deanna, we learn, has moved into Greg's house, and we see Greg playing with Sandy. We find out that Greg is allergic to Sandy.
Which, what? Are you taking allergy pills? Like, how have you been up all in this dog's face? Because they even said when they were in the
Yeah,
apartment that Sandy's hair is everywhere. And I know she's on the couch and
yeah,
Greg's petting her. And, oh, Greg, VIP
yeah.
all day.
I know. They're like, she's not allowed to go upstairs. I'm like, okay, that's not how it works, right? He's still downstairs.
Exactly.
But
Your clothes, your socks, like dog hair gets everywhere, especially blonde dog hair.
yeah. We saw a little bit of that when we get to Beth's section. It was like
Oof.
all over her clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we got some home movies, and Deanna says again that she loves him, and Greg just slapping it all up. And because it's Kevin and this is what they do all the time, Kevin asks if babies are in their future. And she's like, well, we have some news. And everyone's like, oh, what? And she's like, we're expecting. And Kevin's eyes are out his head. And she's like, well, we're expecting a nephew, that her sister is having a baby. And yeah, as like we know, they have their kid Declan. So they did do that because Kevin doubled down on them on when they wanted to have kids, and they were like in a year or two, and they kept to that promise. And I don't know if you remember sometime during the season when you were like you didn't think if they would hang out, the group, if they didn't do this together. I still recall when Beth and Jamie were still together, when she had baby Declan, like they went over and they used to go visit, even though they moved, whenever they got back into town, they would go visit Greg and Deanna.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the update.
Yeah. So that was that. Let's take a little break and we'll be back to talk about Amber and Matt. All right. I do love how they make them walk down the hallway together.
They
I
all look
just
like they're
there's no
going to the electric chair. Why are they all looking so serious?
Well, because they don't care for each other. But here's the thing: old era mouse, like I said, they still sat on the same couch. Even couples that were not. When we think about season 17, where the boys are here, the girls are here, or people are like, I can't sit with them, I don't like their guts. These people sat on the same couch, a very small couch, or a love
Yeah.
seat, I might add. So they made it work. They played a clip of their relationship. Amber says that it was the hardest 8 weeks of her life. They say some nice things that they liked about each other. And Kevin asks, like, Matt, if did you already have like red flags when you started talking about going back to play basketball? And he was like, yeah, like at the time, I already realized that it was not going to work. And Kevin said, when did you realize that? And this man says the first 15 minutes.
If I could reach through the TV and punch him in the nuts, why? Why do you need, you've already done everything you need to do to this woman. Why would you take this opportunity? 2 months have passed by. You were messing around with her the entire time. Why would you take this opportunity to make her feel worse? He's a
That's
piece of
crazy.
shit. Sorry. I hate him.
Steps in, and I wish that she didn't step in because she's like, if you knew this, why did we sleep together on day two? And I wish she didn't because this was the perfect time for Kevin to be like, what were the red flags you noticed in the first 15 minutes? Because he never came right back to it, and I still don't know what these red flags are. I know what he would say after 2 weeks, after the honeymoon or something, because it's predictable. But when you say first 15 minutes, I need you to back it up because you had sex with her after. So I need you to back it up. So he says that he wasn't playing with her emotions and he believed the experts when they said that things could grow. He said when he was staying out at the time, he didn't know much about her abandonment issues, so he didn't know how it would affect her. And Kevin is like, she's your wife. This is enough to hurt her that you're not coming home. So
Sir,
Kevin,
now mind you, sir, this is Matt. This is Matt who's not talking to his parents because they got divorced. So this person who's not talking to his family and his sister that has nothing to do with his parents' divorce, not talking to her either, allegedly, that's what he told us. But
yeah.
that guy needs to know that if you don't talk to somebody, that's not a good thing. What? You don't need to know about her abandonment issues to know that not being involved in your relationship is a bad thing. I hate him so much.
I forgot if I shared this during the season, but I still believe till this day that he is talking to his family. He just knew that this was not going to be a permanent thing and he didn't want to involve them
You did say
in
that
it.
on our last episode,
Okay.
which I
Okay.
believe.
Because that's kind of crazy. Like not even a sister. Like that's crazy. So Kevin straight up asked him, like, are you seeing other women? And he's like, no, that, he didn't have a double life. And Amber was like, that's funny because one of your guy friends came up to me and told me that you are seeing somebody else. And Matt just, he looks like he was just there not to be fined. Like, are we done? Like, why are you still asking me questions?
Exactly.
So Kevin asks, like, okay, did you have sex with another woman while you were married? And he's like, no. And Amber's like, oh, that makes me feel better. Ugh.
Girl. And this is why, and that's why I was thinking maybe 2 months is not enough time. Maybe they needed 6 months. They needed 2 months. She's not healed from this at all. And because at the one end, before he answered, she had the attitude of just own it, boy. And then when he gave his answer, she was like, well, that makes me feel better. What? She's not healed from this at all. And she's flip flopping and she wants to be tough, but she's not. This is another time where they should have dressed up her sister and sent her out.
I just want to say, like, if I was Deanna on that season, I don't know what I would have done because I think the other three ladies are very animated ladies, and I think they all have something in common. I'm not quite sure how to phrase it, but like Amber was doing a lot. This not doing a lot. Is that the word?
Yeah, she was
But I
doing
think
she
she
was
was
doing the
trying to,
most.
yeah, like she was trying to come off like, I don't care. You can do it, but you clearly care. At least I feel like Iris was owning up to, I do care. I do, we shared this moment and all that, but Iris' personality is extra anyways. But I think between Beth, Iris, Amber, they're a very animated bunch. So
Yeah.
and Deanna's on the way opposite end of the spectrum. So Kevin asks if he has anything to say to her, and he says, everything that needs to be said has been said. I apologize if she was hurt or disrespected. The if was already bad enough, but Amber keeps going on about, I just don't like the callousness. Like, we could at least be cordial. Like, I just
No,
feel like he hates me and it
he
hurts that we're
does.
parting enemies. And I'm like, girl, who cares?
Exactly.
Honestly.
Exactly.
Like, even
There's
if you
nobody.
care,
Ugh. Go ahead.
don't show it. Like, he doesn't deserve it. Like, move on.
Nobody wants him to be cordial with you. Your friend doesn't want to be cordial with you. Friggin' Beth, who gave you information, nobody wants you to be cordial with this man. He doesn't deserve it. Let it go. It's so painful to watch her just. Is this a pick me? I'm too old for this, but this feels like a pick me situation where she just wants to be picked. She just wants him to say, oh, Amber, I'm so sorry. You're the one. And she's doing all of this stuff to be picked. And he's not picking you, girl. Let it go.
Yeah. And I mean, again, don't fault her. She's in her 20s and she's basically having it's like Carrie. When Carrie was dating, these were all some of the things that she did. And, you know, it's just where she is in this life, And I know that Kevin has stepped up his game because the fact that this whole reunion, Kevin did not ask anything about Raven
Mm,
was interesting. Like,
mm.
even if there's nothing, like just even asking, like, oh, like, have you ever dated Raven? Does Raven have any interest in you? Or something like that. Um, so Matt says he doesn't hate her, but everything is still fresh. He just needs to process and he needs a little space. And then she starts shifting away from the couch, like, oh, okay, space. Like, no, you don't need to do all that. And she's like, I don't want to be friends with you. Like, I just want to be cordial. And, that Charlotte is small and it would be stupid to act like she doesn't know him if she sees him. And I'm like, again, who cares? Act like you don't know him. He'll do the same. Ugh, I don't know. There was just too much energy for Matt that I'm not, because in the decision day, the next day, she was crying because she felt like he hated her. Like, let him hate you. He's the problem. It's
Exactly.
okay. So she gives us an update. She has her own place now, and she got a dog named Lenny. And she said, Kevin is asking her what's going on, and she's like, "Oh, after the breakup, she did her crazy." And Kevin's like, "What is that?" She's like, "Oh, she's just dating people and she's having fun." And Matt is fist pumping and says, "It makes me feel good that she's moved on." Like, okay, that was it for
Uh,
them. Did you have anything?
yeah. I just my main. I mean, we all know that I dislike Matt so much, but I think one of the things that drives me crazy about him is that he has no independent thoughts. Like anytime that he said anything, it's because somebody asked him or he was prompted, like, don't you feel bad about this? Or don't you did, da, 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 da. Like, he doesn't have anything to share. And I don't know if that's just because he checked out 15 minutes after he got there. But again, bro, you had so many outs. You had the out on whatever half decision day or redecision day, whatever that was called. There were so many times where you could get out. If you knew 15 minutes after you met this girl, you wanted out, be the girl that married friggin' Michael and just leave. You don't have to do this unless you just needed a free place to stay that badly. I don't know why you're here.
Let's move on to Beth and Jamie. I loved Beth's outfit.
I did too. I don't know how she sat on that couch with that tiny little thing, but it was
Yeah,
really cute.
it was. But I think I also got used to seeing her in athleisure. That's her uniform. That's all she
That's true.
wears. Is just that. They play their clip. And I just wanted to note, I don't know if I remember during a recap, he smashed a cake in her face. And you know what they say about men that smash cake in their brides' faces on their wedding day.
Yeah, I'm anti that move for sure.
So I can imagine what it's like watching their clip because that was a roller
Jamie's
coaster.
Jamie's jaw because the entire time when they were showing the recaps, I was watching everybody in the little screen in the corner, and his jaw
Mhm.
was clenched so tight because they did nothing but show all of the times where he was a complete moron, jerk, aggressive, terrible. There was no like, oh, let's balance it out for when Beth was inappropriate too. It was all Jamie, 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 and he was unhappy about that.
Mhm.
Oof.
So Keith asks how things have been since decision day. Jamie says there's been ups and downs and major challenges of after production, and there was stress commingling their lives and they cracked. She said her dog was sick, and they got to a point where they thought they were going to have to put him down, and she told him that I can't even talk to you right now. And Kevin is like, I get that your dog was sick, but what about your husband? And she's like, my dog has been in my life longer, so I'm gonna have to prioritize my dog. Sorry. And Jamie's like, what? And then she doubles down and was like, yes, I will choose my dog. And we see Jamie's demeanor just change
Yeah,
many
he
times.
he walked in real hard too. Like that the two of them walking down the hall and her just kind of bouncing in her little dress, and Jamie looked like somebody had a gun to his back. This whole I wasn't sure how this was going to go, but he did not look great on this reunion.
Hmm. So they share that they are back together and they are married and happier than ever. I've watched enough Housewives. Like whenever they, have their vow renewal and say, "Oh, we're happier than ever," it's a sign. So once again, Jamie says the thing that he says all the time, that he cannot imagine his life without Beth. They say they have a lot of fun and they have a lot of things in common. They claim that they do not go to those levels anymore when they fight. And she says part of why she likes him is that he checks her even when she's being a brat. And then he's like, I've mastered the clap back. That's a whole conversation because we got to a point where when the rest of the world realized what clapback means, even in like magazines, they're like, this person's celebrity claps back. It is not a clapback, it's a response. But that's besides the point. So they say that their relationship is currently hotter than ever. Kevin casually says that now you don't have to do it. So he, now that you don't have to do it, so he shuts up. And, remember I talked about it, like how I felt like that was way more serious than, I mean, Dr. Viviana was surprised when she said it, but I just thought like that was important,
Yeah,
when she said that. And she says that, they've learned about themselves more, and then they joke that they're still having very Caucasian sex, but she doesn't have to, do it. So he shuts up. Jamie has moved into Beth's place. Were you surprised by that?
I was very surprised by that because he's again Mr. Picky, and then to see the size of their bed and to see his stuff like on a pole on a rack, a
Yeah.
clothing rack next to the bed, I was like, what happened? Did you get evicted? I don't understand why you would give up your place to move into her tiny place, but I mean, if you like it, I love it. I don't recommend it because he's the king of leaving.
I think it didn't make sense at this point, but by the end, when they revealed like they're moving, then it's probably like a lease was ending, and I was like, "What's the point? Let's just do this, and we're getting out of here anyways."
Yeah. Well,
So, I think they got a different question because they were open about not wanting kids. So we get a home movie, and Beth shares with us that they wear matching underwear to bed. Kevin asks them where they see themselves in 5 years, and she says she doesn't know, but she hopes to love him and hopes they're living a beautiful life. Um, that is not the case currently,
and I kind of
but
I wanted Kevin to ask about their family, like again, because my husband made note about this was that at one point, like her dad was super involved and then he just vanished. Like we didn't see him in episodes anymore. So I'd be real curious after everything that he's seen, like how is her dad feeling about their relationship? I mean, I know her mom's gonna be like, hey, if you love him, we accept him, but I'd be real
mhm.
curious to see how her dad reacted to this.
Yeah, that's true. So they get all the couples out together. And Kevin asks if they're surprised by any of the decisions. Deanna says she's surprised by Iris and Keith that they mesh so well together, which I think lays credence to Iris being confused. And I think if you remember, Beth had made that thing at the couples retreat where she said they try to act like everything is okay. So, um, maybe Iris is not completely oblivious. I don't know. Was Keith giving her mixed messages? Who knows? Beth says that she's surprised too by Keith and Iris, and she still feels like they're gonna get back together. And they're saying all this, and Keith, his demeanor is like, "Yeah, okay, guys, it's never gonna happen, but okay." Um,
That door's shut. That door's shut.
Kevin asked them how married life is without the experts. Deanna says they're trying to use all the tools that they got from them. Jamie says like it's good that they're out of their lives so they have time to create their own lives, but then he quickly adds, but the advice that they gave us was priceless. And I'm like, okay.
Good save.
Iris says Iris says like they they're surprised by Beth and Jamie still being together. Like they clicked, but they did not communicate well. And there is a passion that did not stay behind closed doors. And they played the clip of them at the racetrack, and they played the clip of Beth pushing the table and saying, "Why did anybody stand up for me?" And apparently, it looked like it was the first time they had all seen it.
Yeah, they all seemed real shocked, but also I kind of wanted them to have a response there too, but I don't know if it was too volatile to have other people involved. Um, I'm sure Iris would have had something to say. I don't think Amber would have. I'd be curious to see what Deanna had to say about that.
About moving the table?
I just their her response to everything and the two of them having this the super volatile thing on and off camera with people, without people, all of that stuff
Oh, but I mean, like, we saw their reaction because Kevin asked them afterwards. Or did you mean during the season?
during the season. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looked like the first time they had seen it and they were all surprised and everyone was like, whoa, that's crazy. And there was silence when they came back, which, by the way, I have a MAFS catch up interview coming up, and they shared with me that the clips and after parties, all they got to see during their time. They didn't get to see like the whole season or context is just whatever clip that they showed, that clip is all they have and that's it. So,
Oh, well, that explains a lot. Okay.
yeah. So, I mean, for that for their season. So, I don't know if that's the case for everyone, but yeah. So, everyone was so stunned after watching the clip. Iris was literally looking down, staring at her hands and not even responding. And then Beth just like, "Okay, to clear the air, I was upset and I was tired. I was tired of arguing, and eventually you just crack." Kevin asked Deanna, "Okay, what do you think?" And she's like, "Well, this feels awkward." And it was like, if it was my husband, Iris says the same thing. That says a lot. Greg says that he was shocked at how they talk to each other. And Jamie starts saying, like, I mean, she ran her mouth at me twice in the car. And she's like, yeah, but a lot was left out and they made me look crazy. Then, they're starting to bicker, you can kind of see. But then Beth whispers, "Oh, this is going to make you kind of question why we're still together." And Kevin is like, "What did you say?" And she's just like, it sucked and it hurts and it brought back emotions of how bad it hurt that day. And she says this is why she doesn't like to watch this stuff anymore, because to see yourself and to know that they aren't getting the whole story, she just has nothing to say anymore. Kevin says, "Well, this is your opportunity to tell the story." And she's like, "It doesn't matter." She's like, "I don't care anymore. Stop pushing me to answer any more of these questions. I'm not doing well with this." And Kevin is like, "I'm not pushing you. I'm just asking you the questions." And I guess this is one of the things I forgot. I didn't realize that Beth had a Emily moment too with Kevin. So
Yeah, that was surprising. Did that surprise you?
that
That
she had,
she,
no, it's not surprising,
yeah,
but I just forgot that it happened. I mean, if it's gonna happen to anyone, it's Beth. Beth is very outspoken, so no, not surprised. I wish that Kevin had asked them why none of them said anything at the racetrack,
mm-hmm.
but they chose not to. So Greg says it's a big responsibility and you have to be patient and understanding. I think they're saying all about, married life continuation. Jamie says that, oh, they asked, I'm sorry, let me go back. Kevin asks if they were the one who got, I don't think he said Iris, but if they got a virgin as a bride, how would they have handled it? Greg says it's a big responsibility and you have to be patient, you have to be understanding. Jamie says it would have been a lot to deal with, but and Beth is like, "Well, I mean, you need sex every day." And then this man says, "No, that's not true." Like, didn't we watch him? Didn't they all they do is fight about sex? What is
Uh-huh.
he talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So Amber is like, "Oh, I support you. Yeah, every day. It's healthy." I'm like, Amber.
Pick me, pick me. Oh, sorry. Was that me?
So Kevin asks her, um, asks Iris, is she going to wait till marriage to have sex? And she goes, "Yes, I'm going to be a divorced virgin." And Keith is like, "Oh, you've become even rarer." And she's like, "Yeah, I'm a rare gem." So Kevin asks about Amber and Matt. Deanna says that she was speechless, that she just thinks that things could have been handled differently. Kevin asks how much did they all know that was going on. Iris says the women knew a little more than the men. Beth says that Charlotte is small. She knew more than she wanted. She had friends or mutual friends who knew things, and she was getting information that didn't feel good to share with Amber. And Kevin was like what? And she's like, "That's not for me to share," which I think was smart, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah. I was surprised. I thought she was gonna give out some tea, but she
Yeah.
held it in, which is nice.
Yeah, that was surprising. Maybe she was just over it all. She already said she didn't want to share anything. But also, why did they make the choice to not include that in the show?
I mean, where would they get? Somebody would have to be open with giving it.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody doubts it. I think you need receipts when there's doubt. Nobody's doubting that Matt was cheating on her left and right.
I think it would have been like a case of like season 17, right? Where they were all saying like this person asked for a date or whatever. They could easily have had Beth, unless Beth says, "I'm not doing this." Like, no, I'm not participating, whatever it is. Because she said people came to her. So she would have had stuff on there. So Matt says basically his demeanor is just like, again, still checked out. And they ask him, "What do you think about this?" He's like, "I mean, it's cool that the girls were there for Amber. Like, I care for Amber, but just not on the level of being in a marriage with her." I'm like, "Oh my God." Iris says
What?
that.
That's new information. Get out of town. What? Yeah, and this is where I wish the guys had I don't know why they didn't ask the guys, or if the guys were like, my name is Willett and I ain't in it, but I just wish he got some confrontation, or even from Kevin, to be like,
Mhm.
you're not a something. He needs to, not that it would change anything, but maybe it would give Amber a little bit of something to hang on to be like, because all the girls are clearly on your side. But I think to have some of the men say, "Yeah, you're a POS guy," it would have maybe given her a closure that she's not going to get from Matt.
Yeah. I think Iris said it best. Iris was just like, Matt thought it would be a cool experiment, cool 8 weeks, but then he got in and he wasn't ready for all that marriage came with. Kevin was like, the boundaries never worked for you, Matt. And he's like, what boundaries? And everyone was like, well, yeah, okay.
Sir, the way he said oh my gosh. What boundaries?
So they do a show of hands of who thought that they were ready for marriage. Jamie has his hand up, and then Beth was like, what? And he was like, yeah, I didn't think he was ready. Like, it was a lot more than he expected. I mean, I appreciate his honesty. So, but would you be mad if your partner raised their hand up to say, oh, I wasn't ready for marriage?
I think if we were, yes, I don't know if there's a good situation where I would be like, oh, that makes sense. Like, okay, then why did you do it? So, no, we would definitely be having conversations on the car ride home.
I don't think I'll be mad because I completely understand the concept of having an idea of what something is, and then in their case with the cameras and stuff, but getting into it and realizing like, oh, it's not what I expected, but I'm willing to work it out and go through it. But yeah. Um Beth and Jamie shared that they are moving to California in the next 3 weeks. And they all talk about what they've learned and advice that they, got through the course of the experiment. And Matt is not even here. Like, he's looking away or looking at some like non-existent lint on his jacket. I don't know what is going on. And then Kevin is like, Matt, and they're like, oh yeah. And then that was it. Deanna starts out by saying, like, oh, my advice is don't set your expectations super, super high. And I'm like, oh dear. And then she's like, you don't want to expect Prince Charming. And Greg is like, where are you going with this? And then she's like, no, if I just went in with no expectations and I ended up with you. And they were like, oh, okay, great save. My last point was like, Amber keeps talking, but every time she's talking, she's looking at Matt. I'm like, don't look at this man for proof. There's nothing
Mm-mm.
that you need from this man in your life at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that was it.
And they lived happily ever after. Although I did listen to Beth on Nicole's podcast. So I do have
Mm-hmm.
some updates on where they are with all of that. And wow.
Do you want to share?
I think just shortly that they're divorcing, and I think there's a lot of issues with property and what they were owed, and he owes her money that he hasn't paid her,
Yeah.
and just so much. But she's trying to live her best life and doing what Beth does, and yeah, she's still a lot. So even she's in terms of personality and what she gives, she has not changed a bit, which I don't know if you would, that's expected of anyone, but she's still the Beth that she was from 2019.
Yeah. Yes, her stories are fun to watch. She just lives life and marches to the beat of her own drum, which, in
Absolutely.
some ways is admirable, honestly. So, as long as you're happy. Okay. Well, Jen, it's been fun. Thank you so much for going on this ride with me.
So fun. And it's must have been difficult for you knowing what was going to happen and trying to keep your secrets and not spoil anything for me. You did a great job. You didn't reveal anything. I saw every episode with fresh eyes. So thank you. It was fun to revisit it.
You are welcome. All right. Before we sign out, can you share with people where they can find you?
Of course, you can find us on our adventure now in Vietnam on Instagram and YouTube at jns.adventures.
And you know where to find me, guys. It is AltoCall MAFS on Instagram, on Twitter, on Blue Sky, and on Threads. Please give me a 5-star rating if you're so inclined, and stay subscribed so you never miss a new episode. Until next time, bye, guys.
Bye.